Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of the SD Iceberg chart video. If you didn't watch part 1 yet, I would suggest watching that first, as that covers a lot of the baseline, sort of top of the iceberg knowledge. Today we're going to be taking a deeper dive, and taking a look at the things on the lower sides of the iceberg. Stay tuned, let's go. The unit system. The unit system was a rather controversial subject. It was created under Carter Gold 123 to divide SD into 3 separate functioning units, each led by its respective officers. However, the unit system had a side effect of causing some rivalry and even toxicity between the 3 units, notably between Unit 1 and Unit 3. So, under the administration of James Grox, this was removed. SCU's new purpose. I'm not entirely sure what this entry is referring to, however, it is known that in the beginning, SCU mainly started as a unit to control riots. However, this has since evolved into the many tasks that SCU does today, such as guarding, recontainment, and discipline. Directorate Chat. The Directorate Chat is a separate channel in the SD Discord meant for members of the SD Directorate. So naturally, this channel is pretty exclusive and probably has some somewhat classified topics that are exclusive to high-ranking members of SD. Wikidot. The SD Wikidot was a short-lived project by Lupus and Known Monarch. It was a separate website meant to host SD-related guides along with various stories and tales which are submitted by SD members. If you ask me, this project was pretty cool, and it's a shame it didn't go on after Lupus resigned. Reasoning for promoting people in SD. This entry is fairly straightforward. Officers in SD would pick through a group of enlisted members that have shown activity and discipline on site, and give these people a promotion, usually up 1 rank. Combat Engineers' bright future. The Combat Engineers are the newest of the 3 subdivisions of SD. Along with the new site coming up, it's pretty easy to say that these guys have a lot of untapped potential in what they could do. CM's reforms. According to my research, combat medics underwent a reform somewhat recently. So the team system was removed, and the rank of team leader was replaced with lead operative, and elite operative would change to senior operative. YSD has had multiple O5s. This entry is pretty self-explanatory, I would say. O5s will always come and go, and when they leave, a new one takes their spot. After all, it's just a game. The hardest working officer. I feel like what this entry is referring to in this case is the massive stint of activity that you usually see from new officers. Once they join the officer corps, they're usually eager to prove themselves, and they do so by hosting a ton of events and being extremely active in their first days as an officer. Why Warrant Officer's name was changed. This entry is referring to what is now known as the rank of Maverick. Under the administration of Carter Gold, a lot of the rank names were changed to feel a lot more like a real-life military, and as such the name Maverick was changed to Warrant Officer. However, under James Grox, this was changed back to the name Maverick. French. This was a bit of a practical joke that was thrown around within Unit 2 of SD back then. So the joke was that Unit 2 just absolutely hated everything to do with France. So I don't really think there's any actual xenophobia involved. I think it's just a silly joke. Moving on. The Grox family. The Grox family is one of the strangest things to have happened within SD for a while. So it started with Noble Grox changing his username from Alexonian to Noble Grox, just as a bit of a joke to James Grox. Eventually this sort of movement actually spread, and with some recruiting and a lot of Discord idiocy, the Grox family is now strong with 14 official Grox family members. How people are chosen for Office of Ceremonies. The Office of Ceremonies is a group of awards, ribbons, medals, and high honors that are presented to Security Department members for outstanding performance in terms of either bravery, skill, or contribution to the department. In terms of how people are chosen for receiving an award, it's generally up to higher-ranking officers and directorates who award these. Behavior transition from old gen to new gen. Especially with older Security Department members, there's been a noticeable shift within the maturity standards, and conduct standards within the security department. Back in around 2018 and even 2019, there was a very high level of conduct, maturity, and grammar that was expected of every single security department member. However, eventually this standard began to fade in some ways. For example, communication has been relaxed as well as grammar and maturity standards to a certain degree. This is just generally to provide for a more welcoming and less toxic environment in SD. Behavior transition from old gen to new gen. Especially with older security department members, there's been a noticeable shift within the maturity standards and conduct standards within the security department. Back in around 2018 and even 2019, there was a very high level of conduct, maturity, and grammar that was expected of every single security department member. However, eventually this standard began to fade in some ways. For example, communication has been relaxed as well as grammar and maturity standards to a certain degree. This is just generally to provide for a more welcoming and less toxic environment in SD. Balloon Guy 1234 Shenanigans. Okay, this is one of the funniest entries in this entire list. Balloon Guy 1234 was a guy who kept trying to join the Foundation and trying to join SD a while back, and eventually got caught with an astonishing count of 11 alts within the Foundation that just kept trying to join random departments. So, because of that, this guy is pretty much a meme in the Foundation. The person that has been in SD the longest. According to a screenshot from the group page, the person that's been in SD the longest, with the exception of the SD bot, would be Sya Plays, who's currently a warrant officer in CM. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching the video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry that it took such a long delay between the first episode and the second episode of this series. To be honest, I just lost motivation to keep making these videos for a bit, but I think I'm back on track and ready to keep making these videos for you guys. And if you like it, please be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, because it all helps. Thanks, I'll see you later, peace.